NASA says its Voyager 1 probe is sending usable information to Earth again.
More than 12 billion miles from Earth, past the edges of the solar system, Voyager 2 has sent back a signal. Not a normal one, not just data. This was different, strange, unexplainable. According to scientists, the probe has just made an impossible encounter, one that contradicts everything we thought we knew about space. But what did Voyager 2 really find out there? Could it be a cosmic anomaly, a phenomenon that defies physics? Or has it made contact with something we're not ready to understand? Let's dive deep into the void. Because Voyager 2 might have just whispered a secret from the stars that humanity has been trying to avoid. Voyager 2's story didn't begin with advanced computers or billion-dollar committees. It began in 1965 with a doctoral student named Gary Flandreau, a pencil, and a realization that would change human history. Flandreau noticed something that no one else did. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune were slowly aligning. A cosmic formation that only happens once every 176 years. This alignment meant that a single spacecraft could bounce from planet to planet using their gravity, cutting a 30-year journey into just 12. NASA jumped on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Thus, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were born. Launched in 1977, Voyager 2 was the real explorer of the two. While Voyager 1 raced ahead to grab snapshots of Jupiter and Saturn, Voyager 2 took the longer path, reaching Uranus in 1986 and Neptune in 1989. Along the way, it discovered unknown moons, icy rings, and the coldest place in the solar system. It flew over volcanoes that spewed nitrogen. It captured images of wind speeds exceeding 1,000 miles per hour. It even discovered that planets once thought to be barren were far more alive than we imagined. But then after passing Neptune, Voyager 2 went silent, at least in the public eye. Its camera was turned off. Its mission was complete. Or so we thought. In truth, Voyager 2 was just beginning its most dangerous and mysterious journey into the darkness of interstellar space. In 2018, Voyager 2 accomplished something no other spacecraft had done before while still carrying functional instruments. After more than 4 decades of travel, it crossed the heliopause, the invisible threshold where the solar wind, a constant stream of charged particles from our sun, finally surrenders its dominance. Beyond that line lies the true interstellar medium, the untouched sea of particles and forces that drifts between the stars. This moment was more than symbolic. It was history. For the first time, humanity had a working machine operating outside the protective bubble of our solar system. Voyager 2 had left home, and it was now sailing in the raw ocean of the galaxy itself. What it discovered there immediately unsettled and astonished the scientific community. Data poured back showing conditions unlike anything predicted. The edge of the solar system was not a clear-cut boundary but a complex frontier, a place where the sun's influence thinned into silence. Scientists expected turbulence, violent magnetic storms, and chaotic particle flows. After all, Voyager 1's earlier crossing in 2012 had shown just that: fluctuations, abrupt spikes, and strange anomalies. But Voyager 2's experience was different. Its passage was eerily smooth. The magnetic field it measured was steady, calm, and far more uniform than models had suggested. It was almost unnatural in its consistency, as if the spacecraft had slipped into a corridor deliberately cleared of disturbance. This contrast between the two Voyagers left researchers baffled. Why would two probes, crossing the same boundary only 6 years apart, encounter such radically different conditions? Was space itself shifting in ways we didn't understand? Or had Voyager 2 entered a pocket of interstellar calm, a region untouched by stellar chaos? The magnetic field remained stable, calm, too calm. This was not what models had predicted. According to decades of research, the magnetic environment outside the heliopause should fluctuate with the sun's 11-year cycle. But Voyager 2's instruments showed none of that. It was as if it had entered a region of space untouched by the chaos of stars. But even more disturbing was what came next. Scientists began detecting subtle frequency disturbances in the plasma wave data, patterns that didn't match any known solar or cosmic behavior. A low hum, a constant vibration. And that hum didn't come from our galaxy's core. It wasn't background radiation. It was local, as in near the spacecraft. What was Voyager 2 approaching? A field, a force, or something entirely unnatural? The word impossible gets thrown around a lot, but what Voyager 2 encountered was truly outside the realm of explanation. In mid-transmission, the Deep Space Network, NASA's global array of massive radio antennas, received a faint fragmented signal from Voyager 2 that was corrupted, but not in the usual way. The pattern was not random. It was structured, as if something had interfered with the data mid-transmission but preserved its shape. For a brief moment, communication with Voyager 2 was lost entirely. Then, inexplicably, the spacecraft seemed to reorient its antenna and reconnect on its own, a maneuver it had not been instructed to do. The signal returned, but something had changed. Among the recovered data was a burst of readings that didn't align with anything in the known environment. Magnetic spikes with no solar source. Radiation patterns resembling nothing we've seen near stars or nebulae. And most bizarrely, a directional shift. It was as if Voyager 2 had dodged something. NASA, as expected, downplayed the event, citing cosmic interference or onboard error. But within internal circles, engineers referred to it as the encounter. Because the moment Voyager 2 sent that data, it was no longer following a clean trajectory. Its course had always been precise, calculated down to fractions of a degree. Every adjustment, every burn, every angle of its antenna was the product of human programming, human foresight, human math. For decades, it obeyed those commands faithfully, crossing the outer planets and carrying itself beyond Neptune's domain with silent loyalty. But that changed in an instant. The data suggested something subtle yet undeniable. Voyager 2's path had shifted. It had been altered not by us, not by software, but perhaps by contact. To understand the weight of this possibility, we have to revisit the hidden heart of the Voyager missions. Not the cameras, not the instruments, not even the milestones of exploration. No, the true soul of the mission lies in something far more fragile, far more human, the golden record. Both probes carry it, fastened to their sides. A gold-plated copper disc that is both message and monument. Etched into it are greetings in 55 human languages. Sounds of the earth, rain, thunder, the laughter of children, the crash of waves, the song of a mother soothing her baby. Encoded images show mountains, cities, animals, DNA, human anatomy, and our place among the stars. And finally, music, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Blind Willie Johnson, a Navajo night chant, and even Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good. It is the most ambitious time capsule ever made. Not for us, not even for our descendants, but for something out there. A cosmic invitation crafted by Carl Sagan and his team in the 1970s, in the hope that one day, across the infinite expanse of space, someone, or something, would find it and understand. It was never guaranteed. In fact, the odds were so close to zero that some argued it was foolish, even arrogant, to include such a record. After all, space is vast beyond comprehension. The probes are smaller than a car. The chance of them ever being found, let alone intercepted, seemed absurd. And yet, humanity dared. But what if they already did? What if the golden record, bolted to the side of Voyager 2, was not just a symbolic gesture, but a literal beacon? A handshake extended into the void. Voyager 2's impossible signal, its moment of disorientation, its altered path, and the low hum detected near its position all point to one chilling possibility. That something noticed it. That deep in the silence between stars, Voyager 2 passed through a region of space that wasn't empty, but occupied. Occupied by what, though? That is the question that rattles through every theory. Maybe it was just a pocket of strange particles, some exotic plasma unknown to human science. Perhaps a quirk of cosmic radiation bent its instruments, confused its systems, and created the illusion of intent. Some suggest it could have been a magnetic eddy, a knot in the fabric of interstellar space, where forces we only partially understand swirl into patterns. But those explanations feel incomplete. Because Voyager 2 didn't just measure anomalies, it behaved differently. It shifted, as if responding. What kind of natural phenomenon makes a machine behave as if it has chosen to dodge, to redirect, to look back? That's the part that unsettles even the most rational minds. Because if the shift wasn't random, if the signal wasn't noise, then Voyager may second have brushed against something intelligent. Not necessarily a civilization in the way we imagine, no grand starships, no fleets in the dark, but perhaps something quieter. A probe like ours. A sentinel. A relic left to listen. Imagine that for billions of years, we looked into the void and heard nothing. Silence, endless silence. We assumed it meant emptiness. But maybe it wasn't absence at all. Maybe it was patience. Waiting. And then one day, a fragile human machine, wrapped in gold, wandered too close. It introduced itself with greetings, music, and maps pointing back to its makers. It knocked on the door we didn't even know was there. And perhaps something opened it. What Voyager 2 encountered could still be explained as physics beyond our reach, a phenomenon we haven't yet named. But the other possibility, however unsettling, lingers like a shadow, that the universe is not empty, that it never was. And now, with Voyager 2 altered, redirected, and humming faintly in the dark, we are forced to ask ourselves, who, or what, was listening? Or maybe it was a warning. Because shortly after the signal was recovered, Voyager 2's orientation shifted again, this time pointing not away from Earth, but subtly back toward it. Why? Some believe it's just a navigational correction. Others believe it's returning. But a growing number of astronomers quietly believe that Voyager 2 has crossed a threshold, that what it found in deep space is not something we can label or understand. Not yet. And if that's true, then the impossible encounter was only the beginning.